In today's video, I'm going to discuss why your lack of energy, why your fatigue is not just in your head. It's not because you're lazy and you need to exercise more. That's literally a sign from your body that it is not getting the nutrients that it needs. Hey, my name is Dr. James Null. If you already subscribed to this channel, welcome back. I'm a chiropractor. I quit practicing functional medicine many years ago because I realized it's nothing more than an expensive wild goose chase that makes you feel productive, but at the end of the day, doesn't do anything to actually heal you. So I've been doing medical medium protocols since 2016, and now I hope I help other people figure out how to make those protocols work for them. So I do have a coaching program, but I realize not everyone is going to be willing or able to do a coaching program with me. So I wanted to provide some free value for those of you who are looking to DIY some principles and protocols. So let's get into it. So I'm going to talk today around a classic situation I had with this. My client, Austin, I recently wrapped up working together with him. And just so you have a little understanding, a little backstory of who Austin is, he's a young guy, successful business owner. And he came to me because for years, he would have to nap in the middle of the afternoon while trying to run his company. And it was just nonstop. It wasn't getting better. And he tried everything that he thought he was supposed to do, right? He cut out the junk food. He was taking a ton of supplements. He was kind of in that world of like Joe Rogan, listening to that information. And some of it seemed to help him a bit. But at the end of the day, he never really got over his fatigue. And this is so common. People have those afternoon crashes, or they're not sleeping as well as they could be. And these energy issues are just pervasive. And what do most people end up doing? They end up propping themselves up with caffeine and stimulants while they continue to starve their body of what it needs. So what we did with Austin is we gradually started to change some things in his diet, which will make a lot more sense as I get deeper into this video. And I'll give you the framework of kind of what that should look like when you're trying to get your energy levels back and why. So we got him gradually shifting his food. That was the big thing. I was not really worried about supplements right off the bat here. We had to get that food turned around. He was a big steak guy, steak and potatoes, pretty clean, right? Not a huge problem. He would eat clean steak, but it just wasn't fixing anything. So this wasn't a situation where we could do like a ton of deep work right off the bat. Everyone's different and kind of what they're willing and able to do with the protocols. And that's where the coaching comes in is my job is to help like take the protocols and match the person, because there are hundreds and hundreds of protocols and not everyone's going to be willing or able, certainly in the beginning, to do the deeper work, but that's fine. So we just gradually started shifting his diet over towards one that's going to support his energy levels and bring him back to life. And sure enough, month after month, we got better energy, less napping, until there was no napping during the work days. It was fantastic. And obviously, when you're running a business, like you don't get sick days, you don't get time off. Like your business depends on you being there. And so this was vital for him to get his energy levels back so he could actually continue to run his business. Like I said, he was a young guy. It was a very successful business. And, there have been cases of people who are young people who shouldn't be dealing with these health issues. They have to give up on their scholastic career. So many kids do not get to finish college the way they envisioned it because of these chronic illnesses. There are business owners who have to throw in the towel on sometimes thriving businesses due to their health issues. It is so sad to see because it's so preventable, but we're all trapped in this high protein, eat clean, take supplements mindset. And when that doesn't work for you, you do feel like you want to give up, right? Like there is no hope. But thankfully, we were able to get Austin to a very good place. Here is more about how we did that. So when we're talking about fatigue, right? There's different fatigue is a spectrum, and there's some mild, adrenal type fatigue, and that can range from mild to very severe. And then on the other end, we have viral neurological fatigue stemming from like Epstein-Barr. Now you can have both at the same time, certainly, but usually, people are more in one category than the other. But either way, whatever you're dealing with, what you think you're supposed to do actually creates a scenario where you're starving your body of the nutrients that it needs. And we're going to talk more about what those actually are in just a second. But you're just surviving. You eat these high fat, high protein diets that actually they just stress your adrenal glands more. And that's what you're getting by on for maybe a little bit. Some people, it doesn't help at all, is your body's own production of adrenaline when you're eating these high fat diets. That's it. And that is not sustainable whatsoever. That's why all those diets, people who do those, they end up having cheat days because the body hates that. It hates it. Yes, it can make you feel good in the moment, but I'm telling you, it is the worst thing you can do for your body. So all this creates a toxic environment internally. And that is not going to help to get you to where you want to go. And it's a total mind F, because you look around and you're like, I'm already doing more than anyone else I know for my health. Like, look at this. I cleaned up this in my diet. Look how much I'm spending on these supplements. What's going on? It really screws with your brain. So look, at the end of the day, when it comes down to your energy levels, we're talking about fuel. And your brain and your body, they have a fuel source that they love. This is very simplistic. This is very simple. This is not complicated. Everyone's made it complicated because there's so much confusion. A lot of it's placed there intentionally by people who do not want people to feel good and heal. But it's very simplistic, guys. And these are the three things that your body needs for great energy. This is what you have to wake up every day, control what you can control, which is what food goes into your body and what food does not go into your body. If you get this part right, you're going to be fueling your body. You're going to see your energy pick up. Now, some people, yes, certainly some people, especially if you're in that more severe fatigue category, you're going to have to do some deeper cleansing and you're going to have some more patience. Sure, absolutely. But just at a very simplistic level, this is what it all comes down to. Glucose, mineral salts, and oxygen. I've talked about this before. This is the formula for healing anything. Even if you're not sick and you just want to work on longevity and you want to do anti-aging, whatever, you just want to feel the best possible that you can, this is what you should focus on in your diet every single day. So glucose, healthy glucose, that's what fuels your brain. It's been vilified to no end. It's asinine. Glucose should be everyone's focus of their food. So fruits, potatoes, squashes. You can even have some gluten-free grains in there that are converted to glucose. Sure, that's fine. That's not going to make anyone sick. None of those things are the reason why one human has ever been sick in the history of planet Earth. Okay? So we need to cool it with this bogus, like, that's too much sugar. That's not true at all. First of all, healthy sugar from Whole Foods is not the same as processed sugar. But even processed sugar, it's not everything that people say it is. It's not the worst thing out there, for sure, when it comes to food. Is it good for you? No. Does it have drawbacks? Absolutely, talking about processed sugars. But it's not the evil villain that everyone wants it to be. All right, so that checks our box with glucose, fruits, potatoes, things like that. The other thing are mineral salts. Mineral salts, together with glucose, are what your brain needs from food to run on, right? Glucose and mineral salts. Where are you going to get mineral salts? You should never get mineral salts from a salt, even a fancy sea salt. That's not going to help you. That's toxic, believe it or not. Now, yeah, you can have a little bit here and there in your diet and still be fine, but you want to get mineral salts, again, from their whole food form. So think vegetables, leafy greens, celery juice, packing your smoothies with spinach, things like that. All right, so that checks our box for mineral salts. And then we have oxygen. So making sure your body has plenty of oxygen. Look, oxygen is highly beneficial. Obviously, we know humans need oxygen to survive. I'm not talking about that, but internally, it does a lot of good things. It's anti-pathogenic. It's antiviral, kills viruses, kills bacteria. And when your blood is thick from eating a high-fat, high-protein diet, that means there is less oxygen in your blood getting to all the places where it needs to go. So the way you're going to bump up your oxygen levels is by what you don't eat or by what you eat less of. So you have to knock back the fats and the proteins. Guys, think about it. What's a heavy meal? Have you ever eaten barbecue? Eat a whole bunch of barbecue, which is basically all fat and protein, and let me know how much energy you have to go run around and do all the chores of life. Eat like a ton of it, right? Compare that. Just do a mental exercise. Stick with me here. So in scenario A, you've just sat down and you've eaten a tremendous amount of delicious barbecued meat. Tasted great, highly enjoyable. Who doesn't love the taste of smoked meat? Delicious. Can't argue that. Okay, so that's scenario A. Now, scenario B, you've just sat down and you've had this wonderfully concocted medley of fresh fruits and vegetables that was seasoned in such a way with, lime juice and honey and fresh herbs to make it very enjoyable, and it tasted good to you. Now, I want you to ask yourself, which of those meals are you going to feel better after from? Is it going to be the heavy barbecue, the high fat, high protein? Or are you going to feel better? Are you going to feel lighter? Are you going to feel more energetic after you've just consumed a tremendous amount of fruits and vegetables? If you're being honest with yourself, you're going to feel way lighter, way more energetic, eating copious amounts of fruits and vegetables. So why don't we do that all the time? And the reason why, I know the reason why, that was a rhetorical, but I'm going to answer it, is because we've been trained to think we can't do that there's something wrong with doing that you're going to be missing out. You're not going to be getting enough protein. Where are you going to get your healthy fat from? Meanwhile, your whole life, you've had plenty of protein and fat. When's that going to start helping you? Because it sure as shit hasn't helped you yet, right? So we have to be honest about the realities of what eating these different foods actually do in the human body. So look, there's an art to this. And that's why I do the coaching, is because it's tricky for people to figure out that balance and what's that point going to be for them where it's going to tip the scales in their favor to where they're going to start to experience better energy. But that's the formula. That's the formula. And if you're diligent and you don't get scared easy, you can go figure that out for sure. But a lot of people, the first sign that something doesn't feel right, they go running back to what's safe. They say, "Oh, maybe I do need more protein. I feel better when I have more protein." And that's a whole other discussion, but trust me, I've dealt with that hundreds and hundreds of times with people. So this is how you heal. This is how you get your energy back to normal. And if you follow this through, this is where you get rewarded. I'm telling you, this is everything that you expect with your healing and your like how you want to feel. You get it through this. You're not going to get it through eating a high fat, high protein diet. Sorry. It'd be kind of sweet if it worked like that, because who doesn't like eating meat, right? Most people enjoy eating meat. Or if you're vegan, who doesn't enjoy a nice cashew cheesecake, right? If that did it, none of us would be watching. I wouldn't be making this video. You wouldn't be watching this video. That's a pretty easy solve in the grand scheme of things, but that's not how this works. Okay, hopefully that helped, and that's it for today.